It's live. And it is what it is. And as we know, I have a tendency to do things spontaneous. So y'all bear with me because I want my music to play. So what I'm getting ready to do is I'm gonna get my music to play, and y'all gonna see how I do this and see if I can make this happen. And you know, people be laughing sometimes. They be like, "Man, how you be doing stuff?" But this is what you do. You gotta do what you gotta do.
That's right.
You know, so this is actually my new theme. I wasn't supposed to play this because all I got on this is the instrumental, but I'm gonna play this, and y'all get ready to hear my new theme song. So y'all just bear with me, and then I'm gonna introduce the guests. People to People with Rodney Grimes. Love you. Yes, I love this. So we just went in the studio the other day.
It's People to People, the People podcast of the DMV. It's not about you, it's not about me, it's about we and God we trust. Sir Rod and Lady Z, PTP.
That's right, PTP, People to People, Power to Power, Positive Thinking People. I'm your host, Rodney Grimes, and I'm excited. Now, as y'all already know, as I told you, that I'm doing this, and I'm doing this remotely, and I'm making things happen, and I got my guests in here, and once I get them up on the screen, then I'm going to introduce them to you, and we're going to have some real serious conversation going on. So y'all just bear with me. And y'all seeing all this take place, but that's all good because God is good, you know?
Yes, it is.
And I just get a kick out of just doing things and making it happen regardless of the circumstances or the situation. I always get the best and make the best out of it. You know what I'm saying? So, now, I got my ladies in the house. What's going on? Y'all gonna have to give me some up. Yeah, we doing that, brother. How y'all doing?
Yes.
Okay,
Doing great.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the ladies introduce themselves. So you want to introduce yourself first and tell a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to come to you as well. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. First and foremost, I want to thank you for having us on. It's a pleasure. My name is Tauheed Washington, CEO and founder of Mobile Moms. Mobile Moms is a nonprofit organization dedicated to mothers and families coping with the loss of a child. I'm also one of the hosts of Pretty in Peace, Not in Pieces, which is
So, as you see, Pretty in Peace podcast is coming. These ladies has got some information that's going to blow your mind. We've been having some powerful conversations, and as you know, sometimes people are in your life for a reason and a season. Y'all are in my life for a reason. I believe that.
Absolutely.
And so, what I would like to do is just kind of like go back and just talk about, you know, what y'all planning on doing. So it's Pretty in Peace, Not in Pieces.
Absolutely.
What that mean?
Absolutely. So, Tarsha and I was brainstorming. I guess I want to kind of go back a little bit. So, I initially launched off Mobile Moms after the untimely death of my son, Tauheed Williams, who passed away October 7th, 2019, the day after his 21st birthday. Tarsha lost her son back in May of 2019. So when I started my organization, Mobile Moms, Tarsha was one of the first members of Mobile Moms. Through throughout Mobile Moms, I've done a number of healing workshops, meditation workshops, sip and paint. We've done vision board workshops. So, God placed on my heart, start a podcast. I didn't know who I was to start the podcast with, but the Lord put on my heart, started with Tarsha. And ironically enough, when I discussed the idea that I had for the podcast with her, she said that I was just confirming something that has already been prophesied to her. How we came up with the name, we got on a call one day and we were just kind of brainstorming different names of the podcast. And I told her, I said, I kind of have this vision of pretty in peace and not in pieces. And the name is kind of derived of what we've gone through, is that we have not allowed life to take the best out of us. We don't look like what we've gone through. So the pretty in peace is that despite the adversities, despite the losses, we are still at peace, and God has given us beauty for ashes. So that's how we came up with the name Pretty in Peace and Not in Pieces. And Not in Pieces is basically, yes, we've gone through some hurt and pain, and we're rebuilding from that healing, but we have not allowed it to destroy us into pieces. We're at peace with the direction God has taken us.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
Absolutely. I mean, definitely with my case with my son. So my son was killed, like Tauheed had mentioned, May the 3rd, 2019, and he was killed by a hit and run driver who's still walking the streets today.
They never caught him.
They never caught him because DC government is protecting him. He's a part of something else. He's I guess they feel this far bigger than him running my son down in the street, so they're protecting him. So yeah, when my son once he he was killed and we got in contact with the detective who was handling the case, he also told us to contact the state's attorney, and I'm like, well, why would the state's attorney be in on this? And we come to find out that the gentleman that was driving the vehicle was wanted in another jurisdiction, another state. And for some other reasons, we don't know what that is, but that's why this has been prolonged for so long. DNA, they did DNA 3 or 4 times, came back inconclusive. Then they had, the detective has been great that works for in DC. But he doesn't want to rush things, because if you make any type of mistake, that's your case. So, but he's been going to bat for us, but the U.S. Attorney's Office.
Yeah, now this is one of the things that, we talking about things that y'all been through.
Mm-hmm.
So we was on the phone the other day, and I always keep it real. So when I use the word struggle, you thought about it, you said, well, I don't know if that was the word to use.
Right,
but then when we
right.
talked about it, y'all have been through a struggle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
The struggle
Every day.
continues. The struggle
Yeah.
continues.
Every day is a struggle.
Taheed's case as well. I mean, it's
Yeah.
ongoing. It's ongoing, and that's what helps me get out of bed every day. Not because I'm feeling any better about my son being gone, but the fight must continue.
So that's where some of the people that we have to realize, even in the situation where we are, these are individuals like myself that we go through these different trials and tribulations in life, and put us in positions that some of us lay down and don't do nothing.
Right.
Some of us that get up and be warriors in the fight.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then for our children to no longer be here, we have to be the voice for them.
Yeah. First of all, I'm much respect, man. When I tell you, I'm like, I love y'all strength. It's amazing, because I'm gonna be honest with you. God, thank you that I haven't lost a child yet.
Yes,
And I'm gonna tell you something. If I was in your situation, they'd have locked me up already.
Yeah.
Cause I'd be out looking for
Oh, yeah.
Elvis.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with your situation, it was
So with my son's situation, he went out the night of his birthday. The day of his birthday, we had a big brunch, family got together, and we celebrated his birthday. And he's 21 years old. It's not uncommon for him to go out. And he went out with a coworker, and he did what most teenagers do. He smoked weed, which I knew of, and he went out to purchase a pill. And what we believe is that he thought he was getting a Percocet, which we found out was laced with fentanyl. which took his life. And so it's a rabbit hole with tracking down these drug dealers that are bringing this fentanyl in that's killing people left and right. So it's an ongoing struggle, you know. But to Tasha's point, we're here to advocate for our children, and we're here to help other mothers go through this, because until you have lost a child, you don't know what it takes from you. It literally takes everything from you to know that you have outlived the child that you gave birth to, and you will not see that child again until you're no longer here.
This is so funny when I say so funny, not in a funny way, but so I lost a nephew just a little over a year ago. First in our arena. Is one of my sister's son, and fantastic guy. I mean, when I tell you an amazing guy, it didn't get no better than this guy. No drugs on that. He ended up with cancer that ate him up. But now this is the thing. When my sister came in, she decided. My sister didn't talk publicly or anything, but she came in. She sat down and we discussed it. And I learned so much about my sister and how strong my sister is, even during the time where she's very weak.
Yeah.
And so with the situation with y'all as mothers, it's a little rough. And I just don't know how do you be able to manage,
It's not on your own strength. You know, when people tell me like, oh, a lot of times when people haven't seen you in a while, they expect you to look like what you've been through. And it is a supernatural strength that comes from God that literally carries you through what you're going through, because it's not on your own strength that you can get up every day and keep pressing forward after losing a child. It's not a natural strength. It's definitely a supernatural strength from God.
With many individuals who possibly been out there and have had experience in losing a loved one, it's something that a person can't walk up to you and say, "Oh, I know how you feel."
Absolutely not.
They can't tell you that.
No.
And then on top of that, you have others. They have siblings that you have to deal with. Then you got to be able to navigate them. There's many mothers out there, fathers as well, that has lost loved ones, and my condolences to you. Actually, we get ready to have a funeral tomorrow for my brother-in-law, and just a little over a year ago, I lost my mother-in-law. Now, that's not the same as losing a child, but when you lose somebody or whatever, you realize they're not coming back. And that's just rough. I got some liquor over there. You want to get a shot at it?
That might help.
You want a shot? I said, you really want a shot?
Yeah.
Hey, we keep it real here. It is what it is, right?
So this is like definitely a club, nobody wanted to be in.
Oh, no.
I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, that to lose a child. And Rodney, you're absolutely right. You get so much feedback from people. They'll look at you like, she ain't over that yet. You know what I'm saying? She not doing this or she not doing that. And it's definitely it's a lonely space to be in.
It really is.
If that makes sense, because on this journey I've lost a lot of people in my life, friends that I thought were friends when it came down to my grief. And then I learned through the journey.
People are scared of us.
Yeah. I learned through the journey that they don't know how to deal with us anymore. They don't know how to comfort you. So they create things so that they don't have to be bothered, basically.
Yeah. What I learned through the process and from sitting down with my sister, you can't tell anybody how to grieve.
No, you cannot. And everyone grieves differently. Like they say it's 5 stages to grief, but it's not like, oh, you're an alcoholic, take the 12 steps and you'll be fine. When it's grief is messy. You can be at the acceptance and think that you're at the point where you're finally accepting it and you're back to square one. That's the nature of grief. It takes time to process, and if you do,
It comes in waves.
yeah, it comes in waves. And if you do research, they say statistically, when a parent loses a child, it takes up to 10 years for that parent to even process that loss.
Yeah.
And I very well can agree with that. I mean, we're in year 3, and me and Tarsha both talk about it. First of all, you don't even realize that 3 years have gone by because you don't even your mind is almost at a standstill from the time that you got the call that your child.
Because I suspect that you can wake up one morning and it's almost like it just happened.
Yeah,
Of course,
absolutely.
of
I have
course.
those days all the time.
Of course.
So yeah, it absolutely. And then not only does it seem like it just happened and we're stuck there, it's like I've lost so many memories prior to that. Like I can't remember like the when you hit with a tragedy, the trauma. When you hit with a tragedy like that, it's trauma that you go through that sometimes you may not ever recover from that. And it's memory loss, some of it. Like some things I can't remember, and then I'll sit back and like even after 3 years later, I'm just now visualizing people that was at my son's funeral that I don't remember singing.
Well, again, for many individuals who may be just joining in, I have my guests. These young ladies are mothers who lost a child, but also that are outside doing things in the community to help people move forward to deal with their struggles. The name of their podcast is Pretty in Peace, Not in Pieces. And I love that, and I just know that this is ordained by God because
Yes,
of the
absolutely.
fact that the way we came about, and some of the journeys that we're on is kind of like with the same initial
God
goals.
makes no mistakes. Absolutely.
Yeah. So if someone out there, if you want to call in, it's 703-752-6120. It's 703-752-6120. Feel free to call in. You want to ask the lady some questions, or if you lost a child and you want to chat a little bit about it, call it in as well.
Absolutely.
Again.
Yes.
But this is something that we're dealing with right now. We have so many parents are now going through this because of the way that the violence is moving
Oh my
around in
God,
the streets.
yes. Absolutely.
So we have to start doing something, and having sit down conversations like this. Not only does it help you, but it helps somebody else know that they are not the only ones in that situation.
Yes.
Absolutely. You would be, well, I guess you probably wouldn't be surprised the number of referrals and inboxes and text messages that I get where it's like my sister lost her son, a friend of mine's lost her daughter, and it's just like you say with the violence. I actually had a segment where I went live on Instagram a couple months ago, Stop the Violence, and just talking about gun violence and talking about how a 14-year-old even gets his hand on a loaded gun. Like, where's he getting the money to purchase these guns? Where are these guns coming from? Like, so it's just nonstop, even like over the summer, and for my son to be in Northern Virginia where it's safe, and over the summer him losing 3 friends that he went to school with, and that's a lot, and then it's like the violence is everywhere now. It's at one point it was like, oh, well, don't go to Southeast because this is going to happen.
Right.
Like Northern Virginia is Southeast now. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
And they're getting younger and younger. It's just like one of my son's friends that was killed over the summer. It was a 15-year-old that took his life. Like, how did a 15-year-old even get his hands on a gun? So
Well, one of the messages that I like to put out, first of all, having a gun doesn't mean that's a bad thing if you're an adult and you're a responsible
and you're
person.
a licensed carrier.
Okay,
Yes.
you're being responsible.
Yeah.
Now understand this. Guns don't kill. Guns do not kill.
It's the people.
If you put the gun down on the table and you don't touch it, it can't do nothing.
That's right.
It's the people that
That's
does
right.
it.
That's right.
And see, people have to understand, we talk about get control of the guns. No, get control of the people.
That's right.
See, let's get control of that
Yes.
because it's
Well,
not
let's stop how, just like with the pills and stuff, Like, how is fentanyl getting in the country? How is these military style weapons getting
Right.
in? They have to stop the borders. Like, you're getting these kids, these nickel and dime kids. You find a 15-year-old with a gun, and we confiscated his gun. Why don't you confiscate the people that's bringing the guns in?
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
it's like this. You know, sometimes when you're doing a podcast, you know, certain things you can't say because they will cut you off.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we're going to keep it real. First of all, you already know that it all depends on who it is and how they go
Who's
about it.
being affected?
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the things that really bother me, but this is on us, that we have to take the responsibility. Start talking to your kids again. Get to a point where you have a conversation. You want to know
Yes.
if your kid is mad at somebody. Like
Check the cell phones. Check
so
the cell
the
phones.
guy that got on the bus, a couple of weeks ago, and he shot the other football players. Remember?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes, and
yes.
UVA,
Okay,
yes.
and you know, the conversation we had about the girl that went down to Mexico.
Yes, we had.
You know, that was crazy. You know, somebody did something. I wrote a little note on it. I was the first one to put my little 2 cents in.
Mm-hmm.
But what I wanted to say is that we have a serious problem going on right now with death. Death is becoming someone people are saying normal. Okay, yeah, everybody's going to die, but it's not the way that
When someone's taking your life,
taking
that's
your
the
life.
difference.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a big difference.
That's the problem. Like when you're, it's one thing, you know, my condolences on your nephew. People get sick
Yes.
and they succumb to their illness.
Mhm.
But when someone has ran you over, someone has given you a pill that killed you, when someone has taken a loaded gun and shot you, when someone beats you to death with your hands, and that's when we have a problem,
Yes.
because that's unnecessary
Right.
death.
That
Yeah.
and I mean, speaking of that, I mean, my brother-in-law who lost his life, it was through physical contact from another individual, and it's just sad that we're at a point where you know this is happening like on a regular basis, you know. But we have to come together. I want to go back to talking about pieces, pretty in pieces. Okay, so what is the thing going to be where y'all going to? What is your goal? Where we going with it? What's going to be the target?
So Pretty in Peace and Not in Pieces is a healing experience. And basically our goal is to capture the lives of parents that have lost children and how they have turned it around, and how through their life experiences, how they're healing and how they're touching other lives to heal and getting their stories out there. And as I told Tarsha, I said, you know, God put on my heart, and it's so funny, like you said, when we came together, the pieces coming together, because like literally the day before we had the conversation about Atlanta, and then you say, hey, I'm going to Atlanta, so you know, we're going to be a traveling podcast too. We're going to be going to different local radio stations and kind of getting the word out there of what we're doing, sharing our stories, and allowing other parents to share their stories and helping other people. You know, like Tarsha didn't know how much it touched my heart, where, you know, I have a YouTube channel that's dedicated to mobile moms, and I had a testimony of the moms, and you know, when Tarsha told me how her husband noticed a difference since her joining mobile moms, being with other mothers that know her pain without her having to elaborate why an anniversary is tough, or why I'm having a rough day, because you're with a group of women that understand what you're going through. And we're not focusing on feel sorry for us that we lost our child. We're saying we have found creative ways on how to heal and bring in your what you do to heal, and we can just grow together.
Yes.
It's about healing
Absolutely.
and growing together.
And that's what's really important. As my slogan is people to people, power to power, positive thinking people. People to people, that's me, you, and them. So that's when we start coming together, and that's what we have to do, is we come together as people and understand that we're not like animals out there just you know, running up and killing each other because we want to eat or something like that. We have human lives, we have souls, we have the will to know right and wrong, and it's important as people that we really address how we are conducting ourselves with each other. And so also here with me at the People to People podcast, I look at what do I bring to the table. I try to bring the information to change people's lives and put it in perspective to say, hey, I know that something happened. I'm sorry it happened to your son,
Right.
but it could be my son next.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What can we do to change?
Yes.
Yeah, and what are the signs to look out for certain things? Like, you know, I'm actually, you know, another adventure that God has placed on me is I'll be reaching out to my son's high school because I want to talk to the kids the dangers about pills and kind of share my son's story of where I believe his first curiosity of the pills. My son was an athlete. He was an AAU basketball player, star basketball player, and he got an injury. And he was placed on opiates pain pill after a major surgery. And I believe that they had my son on the medication too long. So for it to even kind of be in his bloodstream to be curious about pills.
Well,
so that's what we got to talk about, the elephant in the room that people don't want to talk about.
Yes.
And the fact is that when they're given these type of pills and things and they don't know about
At such a young age.
and you got other individuals who think they know about it, they be like, oh, he gave you this, we can
Exactly.
sell that.
Yeah.
And
You
then
know,
they go on the street
streets,
and then they get something that's laced that takes their life.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So,
And we gotta be well educated about medication. You know, my thing is this. First of all, if you don't know somebody, why would you take something from them that you know it's gonna alter your thinking,
Yeah.
right? Now, we can
when
say
you're
that.
young and you're turning up, that's not the thought process.
No, that's what I was getting ready to say. Because I've been there, done it.
Yes.
So you see what I'm saying? So my point is that why do we do that?
Right.
Why do we do that? Because lack of education, lack of knowledge, lack of communication. We're not in a position where we're really talking about this publicly. Let me tell you something. How do a young girl end up pregnant? You know why? Half the parents don't want to talk about sex. Sex is a part of life.
Yes, it is.
Okay? So how do your son end up shooting himself by accident in the head with a gun? Because you got a gun in the house and you didn't address the situation. First of all, it's not a toy.
Right.
You got to communicate.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
So we talk about all type of things. When we try to move forward, it's about educating one another and getting the information out. I'm so excited about what y'all get ready to bring to the table with your podcast. I know this is going to be phenomenal. We got several other individuals that's doing some things. What I'm looking for is basically, as we discussed, we're going to be supporting each other,
Yes.
moving forth. Having y'all to come in to the people location to do something. Also, I'm going to have you come in on date night. I can't wait. That's going to be powerful.
That's gonna be really good.
And then I'm even really curious about just having the girl talk. I like listening to the women because y'all are so unique in your own way on how y'all go about dealing with things. Men, we got ours too. You know, we gonna get our point across. But it's just when the women, when y'all really, really start to go after something, y'all grasp it and y'all really go right to the real sources. You know, and so that's what's exciting about what I know that y'all gonna be bringing with y'all podcast, and I'm excited to be able to support it.
And let me tell you this, Rodney. So, you know, as even like with mobile moms, you know, what I realized too, that the men have a voice as well. So, so Pretty in Peace and Not in Peace is not just for the moms and the women. It's for the men too, because the men have a voice. And what we've realized through we realized through our journey of healing is that a lot of times when a mother loses a child or, you know, a parent loses a child, it's so much focus on the mom that a lot of times the dad kind of gets shadowed because men are taught, and I believe that this is part of the problem that we have in society where with the guns and all that, a lot of mental health issues because men are told toughen it up, that a lot of times the women are in therapy and getting help and working on their mental, whereas the men is like toughen it up, suck it up. And it's not suck it up because you guys are hurting too. So we're going to highlight the men, and we want them to get on and tell their stories. And I mean, and I've had a segment. I did a Father's Day segment.
Awesome.
Tasha's husband came on. My god brother, he came on, and you know, the pain was there. Where a lot of times you guys men, y'all kind of internalize it and keep pushing forward, but y'all have scars and pains of things that y'all have gone through too. And especially when a father loses a child, that's their child too. You know,
And that's one of the things that I worry about. My brother-in-law, you know, who that was his only son, and I know how close they are. I don't say they were, because they still have that bond.
Yes.
You know, the spirit is there.
Yes.
But is for many men, we are closet crybabies.
Yes.
We go by ourselves and go into the bathroom. Me, I can cry easy. Yeah, I don't have no problem with it. I don't know why, but
that's a good thing, because you're getting it out. You know, that's why I tell my son all the time, it's not a female trait to show emotions and feelings.
Well, God wouldn't have put the tears in the man if it was.
Yes.
So actually, if people look at the process of crying, sometimes it's actually what they call a filter. You're filtering your emotions, and it's cleansing.
Yes.
So sometimes it's good to cry.
Oh yeah, absolutely. To get that pain out, because it's, I mean, as a society, with the pandemic and just everything that has gone on, we've all been traumatized in some degree, you know what I mean, whether people look at it or not. And what I've noticed about people is sometimes people try to minimize pain, minimize death, like, oh, well, yeah, I lost this, but it wasn't a child. I mean, pain is pain, grief is grief. And if you don't deal with it, it's going to deal with you.
And I'm glad you said that, because I've went through some bad relationships. That some of it was my fault, okay, and I didn't know how to deal with it, and it was very, very hard for me to deal with my emotion, and it took a long time for me to come to peace with it, and so it came to a point where, having dialogue with different individuals, that I was able to speak truth. And as they say, the truth will set you free.
Yes.
Sometimes coming out of your mouth and saying, "Yo, I'm hurting.
Yes.
I'm really hurting. You know, I'm feeling this."
Yes.
It can make a big difference. So many people out there, if you're going through something in a struggle, you got to realize you're not alone. We got people out there that's possibly thinking about committing suicide. Let me tell you something.
The suicide rate is through the roof, and then especially during the holidays.
And especially after losing a loved one.
Yes.
But this is one thing that I'd like to people to know. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist, or nothing. I'm a motivational speaker. And I tell people this. Most people who think about committing suicide don't want to die. They just want the pain to go away.
Yeah.
And if you communicate with one another, and you go in and you see your kids starting acting weird, or even your husband or your wife, anybody, go in and ask them, say, what's going on?
Yes.
Do you want to talk about it? Or sometimes don't say anything, just go in there and hug them and tell them that you love them. Because sometimes you need to do that.
Of course.
But with the pandemic, I haven't been able to hug my mom like I want to.
Yeah.
My mom's 91 years old. And many times when I go in, you know, I'm a emotional type guy. And sometimes I just kind of look at it and I just want to go over there and just hug her and kiss her on her forehead. And I'm probably still going to do it anyway, because I ain't seen her in a couple of days. I think I might just go ahead and do it, and she can just fuss about it. But
Put your mask on when you do it.
you know,
Yeah.
I mean,
She doesn't want you to do it.
well, my mom is like, with the COVID and everything.
Yes. Yeah.
So let me tell you about that. That's also has been a dilemma in our family relationships.
Okay.
So now we got people come up instead of hugging, they throw an elbow or they knuckling up.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. You can get germs from a refrigerator. You can get germs from when you go into Walmart. If you go use the bathroom behind somebody else. Let me tell you something. We got to get back to being physical.
Yes.
We got to get back to the love and touch.
It's caused a lot of division.
It's caused a lot of division. It has. And people have become desensitized with their emotions.
Oh yeah. Cold.
cold.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, so it's easier for us to stay mad and to hold grudges. Many of us have to get to a point where, one, don't be afraid to show your emotions and
That's
speak
right.
about them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, with y'all as individuals who's setting the platform, y'all gonna be traveling on different locations, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's gonna be powerful.
Yeah.
You know that was part of my idea, right?
Yeah.
I'm just,
You can travel with
no,
us.
you know, I'm just
Come
messing
on.
around.
Yeah.
I tried to get that on record, you know.
I
You
gave
missed
him
it,
the
Miss
idea.
No, it was just when we was talking, y'all was already on top of that.
Oh yeah.
And when I said something about traveling, y'all was like, "Yo, this is crazy."
Yeah, it was such confirmation
Yes.
that I was just like, I told her, I said the first city we're gonna hit is Atlanta. And it's funny because it's like when God is ordering your steps,
Mhm.
it doesn't make any sense in the natural, but it's just like you just gotta trust the process.
Yeah.
That you know, and then He always sends confirmation because for us to have that conversation. I mean, even like when I told Tarsha, like, God chose you, and like she started crying because she was like, it's been prophesied to me not once but twice that I was to start a podcast, and she didn't have an idea on with who, and like I didn't until God just gave me a vision of Tarsha, like that's who, and I'm like, you know, Mobile Moms is growing. We are a group of almost 60 women in the group, and God chose her.
So this is one of the things that I like people to understand. You hear Mobile Moms, you heard that. Keep that in your mind. Keep that in your thought, and let's make sure that as we move forward, that we support these different projects.
Absolutely.
You know, because it's imperative that us as a group of people that
Yes.
we establish our own foundation. I was reading some powerful information today. If you build on sand and a storm come through, then your foundation is going to be weak.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
but when we build on concrete and we use bricks and we build a strong foundation, it becomes solid. That's the same way we have to do with relationships.
Yes.
And with do one brick make a building? You need bricks.
Yes.
So if we're going to build, we have to come together, and that's what. So with Mobile Moms and with Pretty in Peace, not in pieces. With People to People, we got so many different organizations that's coming about, and some things that's going to be taking place. I'm just wanting us to come together to show love and support one another, and make sure that we build a foundation strong.
Absolutely.
You know, so I mean, I'm just looking at everything that y'all been through, and now that y'all doing this, I mean, what's gonna be after the podcast?
We're gonna have to wait for God to give instruction on that.
Cause see, I do production, so I like doing shows and putting on productions. Of course, that got stagnated, but here with the podcast, this has been a journey for me, and it's not easy. I can tell you that. It's a lot of work.
Anything worth having is gonna be.
Come on.
hard.
That's right.
Yeah.
I read that in the book today
Yeah.
too.
Mhm.
It says if you're looking for success, you got to put the work in,
That's
Yeah.
right.
and it says you reap what you sow.
That's right.
So what you
Well,
sow into it.
That's with anything in life
Yes.
that and I can tell you, this is a time of harvest where you put in that good. You're planting good seeds. You're gonna reap a harvest. You
Well,
reap what you sow, yeah.
that is so powerful, and that's something else that we got to realize that's troubling our neighborhoods and our homes and our businesses and things. The relationship of understanding what you put in is what you're gonna get out
That's
of it.
right.
If you open up a grocery store and there's groceries in there, and the neighborhood don't support you, the groceries go bad.
Right.
Same thing in anything.
Absolutely.
And so what we got to look at is this, and it's a lot of us out here are trying. We're not out here, people like ourselves.
Yes.
We're not selling drugs. We're not selling false hope. We're trying to move in a direction and make a difference. And it's not something that we're doing that's really new because it's been done before, but it's at different platforms.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's at different platforms, and it's targeting different type of audience. And one thing I realized too is that oftentimes the support is going to come from unlikely sources.
Yeah.
So where you think you may be getting the support, and then it's okay, you know, because I mean, if you look in the story of the Bible with Jesus, like he had to leave his hometown because the people in his hometown did not expect the miracles and the manifestations that he was showing who he was. So like I told Tarsha, I said, yeah, as we get on the road with what we're doing and stuff, God's going to place the destiny helpers like he has done thus far with mobile moms and everything that we've done. He's going to orchestrate the right people to kind of guide you through your process. I call them destiny helpers. And I feel like, you know, even like with the recent story of Shanquella Robinson, like, you know, that name Friends is just thrown around so loosely, right?
So loosely.
You know, like it's so I think that, you know, and I had put a post about that. It kind of, if we can take one good thing out of such a horrible situation, is that, you know, let's look at the people that we're connected to. Pray and discern that God connects you with the right people. You know, I don't really want friends. I want purpose partners who God has destined in my life to pursue the missions. Like me and Tarsha, we're on a mission to help as many mothers and fathers heal and rebuild from what they never expected to go through. This is, you know, what God has ordained us to do, and he has put us divinely connected as purpose partners to pursue this mission. So that's what I look at now. I don't really care for friends. I want purpose partners.
Yeah, and I like that. Friends is a very, very powerful word, and it's also that you can put friends in the same category with family. Mm-hmm. Not all the time is would you consider a person to be family really have your back. Mm-hmm. So you got to be conscious about who you expose yourself to.
Yes, absolutely.
And, you know, and be careful. Yeah. And speaking about that young lady who her funeral was last Saturday.
Yes.
And condolences to her family.
Yes.
I was traumatized when I saw the video.
I was too.
That was just uncalled for. We have gotten to a point where violence is accepted, like, you know, is a part of life. It's not.
It is.
It's not. And we got to get to a point. We got to make people also know that they're going to be accountable for their actions.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. And accountable for their actions, but also as individuals, we have to stop ignoring red flags. When you see jealousy, when you see envy, when you see something in if something in your spirit is just like not right, even when it comes down to partnership, how many people have been murdered by a spouse where God has said, get away from this person, you're in danger, you're in danger. So when those red flags start going off, it's not about being paranoid. And with, you know, Shanquella Robinson, may her soul rest in peace. From what I've gathered, she was such a giver. She was very successful in everything that she was doing. She wanted to take everybody along with her. But unfortunately, where God was trying to elevate her, she probably got warning sign after warning sign. Remove yourself from these people. But, you know, when you have a good heart, and 9 times out of 10, she was probably an empath, wanting to see the good in everyone. And, you know, unfortunately, you know, it can cost you your life being connected to the wrong people.
Well, that's something else that we should put the message out. Always when you're traveling, travel with somebody you really know got your back. Somebody you really know. You know what I mean? You got some people, hey, come on, you want to take a trip with me? And you just met them. You know what I'm saying? You don't really know.
See, to this young lady's point, I think she was with people that she thought she knew. Because my understanding with the gentleman that was the best friend that basically video recorded her murder and did absolutely nothing to help her, where they were friends for over 10 years.
Yeah, he was the one that was telling her, you ain't even gonna fight back.
Yeah, I mean, so I think, you know, the whole time it was a setup that she knew nothing about. Yeah. And in her mind, she was thinking, I am safe. I'm amongst friends.
Yes.
You know what I mean? In her mind.
Well, that's something that is imperative and important for us to acknowledge. that not everybody have good intentions for you. Not everybody want to see you succeed. Envy and jealousy is something that
It's real.
It's real.
It's real.
And you got when
you see the signs of it's envy and jealousy, and then it's sometimes I feel like everything in life has its time, and so a lot of times we may try to stay in situations and connected to people over the expiration.
That's right.
Right.
And I'm sure with this young lady, she just seemed like a good-hearted person. It was allegedly she was the one that paid for the trip. Financially she was doing a lot better than the people along with her, and the whole time she was a moving target.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate, but I told my son, I said everyone that skins and grin is not a friend, and then sometimes it's seasonal reasons in lifetimes. Sometimes it's the person's time in your life, their season has ended, the signs are there, but you want to keep them around longer than what God has intended for them to be in.
And which also you got to remember, when somebody show you who they are,
Believe them.
believe them.
Yes.
So if you got a person who's always talking about, man, I should bust him in his face, because that's a violent person. If they're always talking about violence. If you got a person that every time you turn around, you be like, I know you're going to take that and not pay for it, then you know that they like to steal. So, or if a person come to you, now I'm going to tell you one of my pet peeves that really bother me. Oh my goodness, I hate this. When somebody say something about another person, and then you call them, did you know what they said about you? That bothers me. What is the purpose of calling somebody to tell them something that you know gonna hurt them?
Well, that's
that underneath. That's that underneath motive, because they don't really like that person.
Right.
Yeah.
So if a girl across the street told me, oh, I can't stand her, and I call you and say, yo, Shorty just said she can't stand her. What was my purpose?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. To intentionally hurt me.
Right.
Yeah.
Because and then.
But I didn't say that's what she said.
But but see the whole point is this.
Shade.
It's shade. And a lot of people get back. Oh man, I was just looking out for you. No, you weren't. Because what you should have told the person who was telling you that garbage, say, why don't you tell them yourself?
But you ain't telling me, because if they felt that comfortable talking about me to you, so
you
know what I mean. So it was a whole conversation going on about So it's those telltale signs that unfortunately a lot of people and then history does not equate to destiny. Just because you've known a person for a long time does not necessarily mean that God is saying, "Oh, keep them alone, keep them alone, keep them alone." You know what I mean? So it is.
Learn that the hard way.
Yeah, we all have.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then it's sometimes where I look at as we get older and stuff. It's not even that a person is bad for you. It's just where you're going. If I say I'm moving to Atlanta and Tarsha say, oh well, I'm going to California. Well, we're going a different direction. It doesn't make her a bad person or me a bad person. It's just we gotta part ways. Like, this is where I'm going and this is where you're going, and our season has ended, and it's okay.
And that's one of the things that a lot of people have to realize. It's okay for you to not want to do what somebody else is suggesting.
Right.
Because a lot of times people come in and say, oh girl, you're going to start a podcast, you should be doing about this, you should do it about that.
You got to be careful who you share your dreams with, because a lot of times, you have people that want to see you do well, and then you have some people that don't want to see you do well.
I think that's been one of my biggest problems, trying not to talk about it, coming from Alexandria, coming from the DMV, living in Maryland, excuse me, and just you be wanting everybody to be just over excited about what you're doing, and then you're looking at you like you're crazy, and it kind of hurts.
It does.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
And then you find yourself, and then people say, well, stop talking about it, don't say this, that, no, it hurts, because you can't help that you are who you are. It's almost like a drunk. I tell a young guy, don't talk about this man until you heard his story, because you don't know why he's drinking.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
if you go and put yourself in his situation, you may
don't
not
know
be
what they've
drinking.
been through.
You might have
Yeah,
walked in
you
front
might
of a
be
bus.
outta here.
You
Yeah.
know what I
I
mean?
couldn't walk one day
Yeah.
in somebody else's shoes.
Yeah.
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 So that's important. So just a little curiosity, because you know I got to throw this in here too, because I'm getting this girl in here on date night. so what's up with that other little business that you got?
PR Essentials by Tarsha. So I have a lot of enhancements for men and women, couples, individuals, whatever you're in need of. It's just they enhance you in any area that you need enhancements in. Couples items, bath and beauty stuff, cologne, perfumes, lotions, body wash. It's a mixture of things, but the number one seller is the bath and beauty products. But then the adult bedroom accessories, everybody they love to get into that.
How do they get in touch with you there?
They can find me on Instagram, PR Essentials by Tarsha, on Instagram, Facebook. Yeah.
Okay, and how do they for the mom situation?
Absolutely. So Mobile Moms, I have a page on Facebook. I have Mobile Moms by Tauheed on Facebook. Also have a private group for the moms on Facebook as well. I have a YouTube channel, Mobile Moms by Tauheed, and I'm on Instagram, Mobile Moms.
I love that. I love that. I'm so excited about what y'all doing and what y'all bringing to the table. This is not going to be the last time. This was the first time we are we kind of like becoming a gang.
Gang, gang.
But no, we building, and we want everyone out there that's going to watch this program to know that it is imperative that you feel that you are needed, you're wanted.
Yes.
Don't put yourself in a position if you lost a child, you lost a loved one, that you're by yourself. This been going on, and it's not something you take lightly, but you got to know that it's people that you can reach out to, and they'll help you to be able to navigate through this. My sister told me that she had got into a group where they talked about things, and my sister, she wasn't that individual to talk about different things freely, but she just expressed how much it meant to her, and so that was really, really powerful. Again, for all the individuals that just tuned in, or if you was watching, or you gonna watch later, also remember to go to YouTube and subscribe. We need your support. I'm telling you, it's a lot going on. We are right now, as they are transitioning, so is people to people. We got a lot of things I've been telling people is coming to, it's going to come to pass as we move forward. Growing, sometimes you have to kind of like, even you have a pair of shoes. You know, as a child, you start to grow. You got to get rid of some shoes to get another pair, so that you can walk a little different.
Yes.
You got to make room, right?
Yeah.
And so many of us got to do that. But in the process of it, don't make it all about you. Don't make it all about yourself. Make it about us. That means we come together and we definitely support one another. I love what's going on down in Atlanta. Every time we talk about something powerful, man, it's coming out of Atlanta. Atlanta down there doing anything. Kudos to Tyler Perry, what he did, went down there. But guess what? We got a Rodney Grimes up here. Okay, I was getting ready to say we got a Tyler Perry up here, but no, we got a Tarsha and Tauheed, right? Okay, so we got people up here that are actually making moves in this area, and not to mention there's some of the other individuals that I network with, Tracy Clark and Rachel Pope and many other people that I can put names out. Michael Johnson. I'm talking people that are doing some positive things. Dante Cunningham. It's just so many people out here that I can just tell you that have it in their spirit to make a difference in other people's life, and it's just amazing. I think that it's a powerful thing. I'm so intrigued and excited to be with y'all and to have y'all as my guests.
Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you
thank
for
you so
having
much.
us on, and you know we're about to go lock and load, and we'll have you on as well. So
Yeah,
we appreciate
that's gonna be powerful. Yeah, you saw the lights go out a couple times. So what? You know what? I get a kick out of, because sometimes I go back and I watch the, I go back and watch the program, and I learn something every time I watch it.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's a lot of good things that's getting ready to happen again. I just thank God. I'm loving what's going to be coming in the future. I'm looking at this. I get a kick out of this.
Yeah.
I mean, that y'all gonna be doing something.
This is God's vision.
Yes.
You know, your gifts will make room for you. So you know,
I'm excited.
God is definitely moving. And
Yeah.
I'm excited as well.
And you know something was so amazing. We can actually do something like this, and then you can send it all over the world.
That's right.
Yes.
Easy.
And I've already, so what I did with Mobile Moms real quick, as I travel, you know, did different countries, Mexico, Jamaica, different places I go, I leave my business card, and God has already given me a vision of what you're doing is going to go global. And so, you know, write the vision, make it plain. I'm putting the stamps out there wherever I've traveled since starting my organization. I leave a business card.
And that's what I'm excited about. I've had the opportunity to meet some new people. Will out of Atlanta, Sharon out of we was talking about New Orleans.
Yeah.
Sharon and her husband. I met some very, very nice people up in Philly, and I'm just excited what's getting ready to happen moving forward. How we're going to be helping different people deal with different situations, because it's not just about losing a child. It's not just about trying to start a business. It's not just about, you know, trying to make friends or trying to hold somebody accountable for their action. It's so many life trials and tribulations we have to deal with. And it's podcasts and radio shows and television shows that get you in a position where you're actually being able to go and get help and get information. So again, I thank y'all. It was a pleasure having y'all on the program. And yeah, I'm getting ready to play my music. I'm excited. I'm just, you know, again, when I'm going to have the ladies back on, it's a lot that's going on with the podcast. And all I can just tell you is this: just stand by, because God is in the works.
Yes,
you know, I already know He is.
Yes,
I'm not quitting.
I'm excited.
You know, I know a lot of people like, what Rodney been doing? I've been doing it from the house. My wife been out of town a lot. We had some very serious situations in our family to take place. Like I said, we're going to bury my brother-in-law tomorrow. It's just been one thing after another. But all I can just tell you, God is good.
Yes, He is.
And I'm telling you, you got to look at the bright side. There's a bright side to everything.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
You know, so we just got to just stand clear and
we got to
just
stay in a heart posture of gratitude, because God is good despite what we go through.
Yeah, be grateful through it all.
Absolutely.
He does. He does. And I'm finding my music. Yeah, I be laughing because sometimes people be like, man, some of the stuff you do, look, let me tell you something. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do.
That's right.
You know,
You gotta be
so
excited about what you do.
I make it happen and just do it, you know. So let's see. There you go. It's People to People with Rodney Grimes. Thank you, ladies. I love it. Hey, listen to it.
It's People to People, the People podcast of the DMV. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about we.
I'm
And
excited
God we
about
trust. Sir Rod and Lady Z.
I'm
BTP.
excited. It's the beginning of something.
Even what I've been doing here has not been really easy. I came here a year, little over a year ago. I didn't have all of this. And it's wrong. So now I'm getting an introduction.
I'm excited.
We already know. That's it. For real.
Oh, look. Single, but I'm still coming for day night.
Yes.
Positive thinking people.